Good morning, dear children. How are all of you today? I am very happy to meet you again. Dear students, there is a doubt. Suppose you meet a stranger who doesn't know your language. How do you communicate with him? Yes, through actions or gestures we can communicate. Right? Dear children, I have written two words here on the board. These are the features of the language we speak. These two features are there in all the spoken languages. Which are they? Dialect and accent. You must be knowing them because you are having phonetics class. These two words, these two features of spoken language must have been discussed in your phonetics class. Anyhow, I will give an outline of these two words. Dialect is a particular form of a language which is spoken in a specific or a particular region. So we can say dialect is a regional language or local language. For example, in Karnataka, the language is Kannada, right? In Bangalore, native speakers use a variety of Kannada. When we go to Udupi or when we go to Shimoga or Mangalore, you will get slight differences in spoken Kannada. That is dialect. Again, when we go to Telugu, in Telangana, a variety of Telugu is spoken. When you go to coastal regions, Visakhapatnam and all, you will get some slight differences in spoken Telugu. Again in Kerala, each district has a distinct variety of spoken language. Language is written in the same way. Correct? The written form is same. When it is spoken, there will be slight differences. Correct? Slangs are there. So that variety or that specific changes or forms of a language is called a dialect. Okay, another word is accent. Accent, you know the meaning of the word. A distinctive pronunciation of a language is called accent. Correct? For example, we say a strong American accent. For example, when we speak English, since English is a second language for us, there can be a tendency to be influenced by our mother tongue. Correct? We say strong mother tongue influence while speaking English. Correct? That is accent, the way of articulating or pronouncing speech sounds or a language is called accent. And do you know how many accents are there within Britain? There are many accents exist within Britain. For example, Cockney English, Scottish English, West County, Midlands English are some of the accents prevailing in England. Dear children, here we have an interesting play written by George Bernard Shaw, a well-known English writer, playwright, a well-known critic of the social issues, the prevailing social systems, and iconoclast we can see. He was a severe critic of the existing social norms, beliefs and customs of his age. So he is called as an iconoclast. He wanted to break down those social norms and beliefs. Here, our textbook introduces a beautiful play, a drama written by George Bernard Shaw, a comedy of manners. Originally, the name of the drama is Pygmalion, and this extract, the 12th chapter of Astor, is Comedy of Manners, is an extract from George Bernard Shaw's drama, a well-known drama, Pygmalion. In this drama, a phonetician, a professor of phonetics, and you know the word phonetics. Phonetics is the study of speech sounds. Phonetics is the study of the use of consonant and vowel sounds. And who is a phonetician? Phonetician is an expert who studies the use and features of speech sounds. Here we have an interesting character, Professor Higgins, a phonetician, okay, who teaches a young girl, Eliza Doolittle. She is a flower selling girl, a flower girl of the streets. He teaches her how to speak better English in proper accent. Eliza Doolittle was using Cockney English with lot of grammatical errors, though English is her own mother tongue. So here he is transforming Eliza from the gutters into the royal world by changing her accent, her pronunciation, her language itself. Before reading the lesson, let me introduce the new words used here. Here we have the list of new words. The first one is saucy, rude in an annoying way. Professor Higgins was not a very kind teacher to Eliza. He was a saucy teacher. He was very rude and irritated one while teaching alphabet, while teaching sounds, consonant and vowel sounds to Eliza. And he used to, criticize her very bitterly. He used to tease her very badly. Okay, actually he was demotivating her, while teaching her. Next one, genteel, polite, atrocious, very bad, follies, stupid actions, abashed, ashamed. Dear children, as I told you, the play, A Comedy of Manners, is an extract from George Bernard Shaw's widely accepted, widely acclaimed drama, Pygmalion. The word Pygmalion is taken from Greek mythology. Pygmalion was a Greek sculptor. Before going to the lesson, I will give the characters' names who are appearing in this extract. In the whole drama Pygmalion, we come across lot of characters. But here in this extract, A Comedy of Manners, we meet only these many characters. Who are they? First one, Professor Higgins. Professor Higgins is a phonetician who does extensive research works and studies on the use of speech sounds. Yes. And second one, a flower girl, Eliza Doolittle, who belongs to a very poor family, having lots of self-respect and dignity, a very young, beautiful, flower-selling girl of the London streets. Next one, a linguist. He is Colonel Pickering. Professor Higgins and Colonel Pickering met very accidentally. Actually, both of them were in search of each other. Professor Higgins had heard a lot about the knowledge of Colonel Pickering. Basically, Colonel Pickering is a linguist. A linguist is a person, an expert, who studies on languages. Colonel Pickering has immense knowledge on Sanskrit. He has done a lot of research works in Sanskrit or on Sanskrit. Yes, see, and very accidentally these two friends met one day. And henceforth we will collaborate, we will work together, and we will together do a lot of research work on linguistics, study of languages, and phonetics. Okay, one day Colonel Pickering went to Higgins's language laboratory. There they met Eliza Doolittle. Okay, the next character is Mrs. Pierce. Mrs. Pierce is the housekeeper, one who takes care of a house of Professor Higgins. And you know, when they met each other, Mrs. Pierce and Eliza, they had a very close bonding between each other. So whenever Higgins loses his temper while teaching Eliza, Mrs. Pierce will interfere and she will always support Eliza. She had a lot of love and affection towards Eliza. She is very considerate and she treats Eliza as her own daughter or younger sister. A very good, decent lady. Next one, Alfred Doolittle. Alfred Doolittle is Eliza's father. Alfred was a drunkard and irresponsible father who doesn't take care of his family at all. That is the reason Eliza was forced to work as a flower selling girl on the streets of London. These are the main characters that we could see in this extract, a comedy of manners. The play Pygmalion, written by George Bernard Shaw. As I told you, dear students, in this extract, in this drama, the play Pygmalion deals with how a fanatician, Professor Higgins, transforms a young, beautiful flower-selling girl of the London street into a high society lady by polishing her language, by teaching her how to use English sounds properly. Dear students, here in this extract, a comedy of manners, it starts with Act 2, Scene 1. In Act 1, Professor Higgins and Colonel Pickering met on the roadside because it was an evening time and it was raining heavily. To protect themselves from the heavy downpour, a lot of people were standing in a shelter. There, Professor Higgins was introduced as a note maker. He was holding a piece of paper and he was noting down the various accent of the people who were using, standing around him. See, he is a very good observant. So whenever he goes out, whenever he finds people using a different accent or a different dialect, he will note down in his notepad for his next research work. Here also he got an interesting accent of a young girl, a flower selling girl with lot of grammatical errors. Though it's her mother tongue, she was using pathetic language with lot of grammatical errors and her accent was, it's written here, it's atrocious. Higgins himself was telling that her language or her accent is atrocious. Okay, that girl was the main character of our play, Eliza Doolittle, who was using Cockney English accent. And here he met Colonel Pickering. They introduced each other and Higgins was telling, oh, Mr. Pickering, I was in search of you. I have heard about your knowledge in Sanskrit language and I have heard about that you are a very good linguist. You know a lot of languages, the features of languages, and I want to collaborate with you, to cooperate with you for my further studies and researches in language and speech sounds. Colonel Pickering also agreed because he was also searching for Professor Higgins. He is a treasure of knowledge. Okay, so Colonel Pickering told him, Professor Higgins, I will come to your language lab tomorrow and we will be having a lot of talk and discussion on phonetics and linguistics. It will help us later in future for our further studies and researches. Act 2 starts with the introduction of Professor Higgins and Colonel Pickering sitting in Higgins's language laboratory in Wimpole Street. The timing is given here at 11 a.m. At that time, there came a young lady. Okay, actually Mrs. Pierce brought that young girl there in the language laboratory. They were, Higgins and Colonel Pickering were in a very deep conversation about language, the features of language, the features and usages, etc. Suddenly, this young girl enters there. Seeing this young girl who has come there along with the housekeeper, Mrs. Pierce, Higgins asked, "Aren't you the same girl who was selling out flowers yesterday? I saw you somewhere yesterday on the street, I feel." She told, "Yes, sir, it's me. I am Eliza Doolittle. I am here. I am in need of your help. If you help me, that would help you also in turn." So he was confused. Why should I help you, or how can I help you? Yesterday I remember you were speaking Cockney English accent and I have recorded your accent. That would be useful for me for my further studies. What else I can do for you then? She told, "I am a flower selling girl. All these years I have been selling out flowers on the streets. Now I want to learn good English. I want to change my accent. I want to speak English properly. And I came to know that you are a very well-known expert in phonetics. Professor, you can help me out in learning or in mastering my own language. This is the help I ask from you." Okay, he was confused. You want to learn English accent at this age. You are not a very small kid. You are a young lady and it's not at all easy for you to change your accent at this age. Why do you want to learn correct English without any grammatical errors at this age? Because she told that, all these years I have been working on the street. Sometimes the customers won't be good. They would be very rude mannered. Sometimes they don't behave in a very good way. But if I can change myself, if I can speak very good English, if I can dress very well, I can be allowed to work in any one of the fancy flower shops of the city. Otherwise, with this language, with this accent and with this appearance, I won't get any job in any one of the flower shops. If I can work in a flower shop, I will get very good customers who are from respectable families. They will behave me in a very good way, right? So actually nowadays I am scared of working on the streets as a girl. So I want to be in a safe place to continue with my job. That is the reason I want to change my accent. I want to learn a perfect English without any errors. Please do help me for that. As I told you, Professor Higgins was a very sober person. He doesn't show much feelings or any sympathy, emotions to anyone. He was little bit thoughtful now. He's thinking, okay, it's not an easy job to teach a girl of this age, how to pronounce a word or how to pronounce a sound. She's not a small kid. If it was a small kid, it would have been easy for me to train. But she is a young lady. How is it possible? It's a challenge for me. Okay, after a while he asked her, okay, fine, just to see the way you are talking, it's very difficult for me to teach you. It's not an easy task. So I need money. How much you will pay for me as a fees? So she thought for a while. Sir, I am just a flower selling girl. I belong to a very poor family. So I don't earn much. I can give you very few amount as a fees. Please don't expect anything more from me as fees, because I cannot afford it. Second thing, I am going to learn my own mother tongue. English is my own mother tongue. But the thing is, I don't know how to speak it properly. I am sorry, sir, I cannot give you more than a shilling. It's a very meager amount of money. Oh no, it's an impossible task. Just look at your accent. It's terrible, it's very poor. And grammar is atrocious, very bad accent and grammar. As I told you, it's not at all an easy job to change your accent or your language at this age. And I cannot polish your language into that of a duchess and princess within 1 or 2 days. Takes a lot of time. And one more thing, I am going to take up such a challenge for me to change a girl from the gutter into a duchess or a princess or a royal noble lady in speaking, in behavior, in manners, in culture, etc. Do you think it's very easy? Child play? No. For me it's very difficult. So in turn I need fees. And you know how much effort I am going to take, how much pain I am going to take up for this. How much effort I am going to take up for this? How much time I am going to spend for you, for your transformation from a local girl to a princess? Do you think that's possible overnight? No. In turn, I need fees. Suddenly she said, yes, sir, what you said is correct. My accent is wrong. My grammar is full of, errors. I want to change everything. I want to learn good lessons from you, an expert of phonetics. That is the reason I have been here. Please help me. And suddenly he got irritated. He told, sorry, I don't want such a ninny hammer as my student. Ninny hammer means a stupid, a silly person. Please get lost. I cannot take up this effort without any profit. Financial profit. Suddenly, she got irritated. She became furious. Eliza Doolittle, though she is from a very poor family, daughter of illiterate parents, she is noble in her behavior, in her manners. She is having high self-esteem and high self-respect. She will never bow down her head in front of others without any reason. She became furious. Whom are you calling ninny hammer? Do you think that I am just a silly person? No, I have my own ego, my own self-respect. How can you hurt my ego? How can you call me a stupid person, a silly person? You are an educated one. Correct? You have got the opportunity to get educated. Now you are in a very good position. That's a blessing for you. God has given that blessing to you. And you are a teacher, you are a professor, highly qualified, well-educated person, having a high position in the society. I don't expect you to talk like this to me. I came here for a help as a student. As a teacher, you shouldn't have treated me like calling me a ninny hammer. Children, no one of us likes to be called as an idiot or a fool. Correct or not? All of us are unique. All of us are blessed with unique, talents and abilities. Correct? No one is worthless in this world, because we all are the creations of God, the Almighty. So we all are blessed with one and the other abilities and talents. So I cannot belittle any one of you sitting in front of me, because I am not the perfect one. Correct? No one of us is a perfect creation in this world, and we don't have any rights to call or label a person as a stupid Nini Hammer. Right? She became very furious and she retorted. Suddenly, Colonel Pickering interrupted this conversation, because this conversation is going on endless. Right? So he interrupted. No, please stop. Colonel Pickering is a very kind, more considerate person, and he was showing all his love and warmth to this young girl who herself came forward. Yes, I want to learn something, I want to change myself. So actually he was appreciating her attitude, that she came forward. She approached Higgins to learn something new for her better life. Actually, he was appreciating her. And he was appreciating her, he was admiring that all the effort that she is going to take up to change up her own life in future. And he was, in his mind he was praising her. Colonel Pickering, he was very kind and considerate than Professor Higgins. He could understand the condition that this girl is passing through, why she wants to have a change, something betterment in her life. She couldn't understand that. He's more humane, let me say. He stopped. Professor Higgins, please stop this conversation. Why can't you take up this as a challenge of your life? You are an expert in phonetics, you are a great researcher, scholar, having lot of knowledge. Why don't you use all these knowledge and skills as a teacher, as a phonetician, to reform this girl? She is from the slums, as she said. It's not at all her fault that she has been raised up in a slum or on the streets. It's not at all because of her fault. It had happened to her. But voluntarily, she has taken up the effort. She has taken up the challenge that she wants to change her language. We should appreciate that, mentality, attitude of the child. And basically, you are a professor, Higgins. You are a teacher. How should a good teacher be? A good teacher should always be motivating the kids, not demotivating them, not harassing them with words by calling Nini Hammer stupid or silly or something like that. And what is the ultimate duty of a good teacher? Duty of a good teacher is to teach and make the kids understand the lessons in a better way. And who is a good teacher? A good teacher is a person who can uplift a weak or a poor child into a bright one, into a better one, into the best one. That is the good teacher, or a great teacher, let me say. Professor Higgins, please take it as a challenge or a bet. Within 6 months or within a year or within 2 years, take up the responsibility. Take up the responsibility, and why can't you change this girl into a noble lady by changing her language, by changing her accent, by changing her own life? If you can do that, you will be labeled as the great teacher in this world. Because she doesn't know anything, she is just like a blank slate. Correct? And with your effort and knowledge and skills, your experiences, your expertise, if you can change her into a better lady, you will be appreciated, you will be admired by the whole world. Yes, Professor Higgins is an excellent, great teacher. He could transform a girl from the slums into a royal scenario. It's because of his ability, knowledge, he could do that. Only a great teacher can do that. Why can't you take it as a challenge? Colonel Pickering said, Professor Higgins, take it as a challenge or a bet. If you are willing to teach her good lessons, I will pay for her. fine, I am ready. Within 3 months, if Eliza is a quick learner, I will change her language. I will teach her good language. Okay, Eliza, tell me, where are your parents? Eliza told, Sir, I don't have parents. My stepmother threw me out of the house to earn my own money. That is why I have started selling flowers. Oh, you don't have parents, right? That is why you are wearing a very shabby dress. Suddenly, Professor Higgins called Mrs. Pierce and told her to get some good clothes to Eliza. Both of the ladies, they went into another room. They started, Professor Higgins and Colonel Pickering, they continued with their conversation on the features of language and speech sounds. After a while, there appeared an elderly person. He was in a hurry. He came and told, Sir, Professor, I want my daughter back. Professor Higgins asked him, Who are you? Is your daughter, have I kept your daughter here somewhere? Who are you? I don't know who you are. The first time we meet. Yes, sir, this is the first time we meet, but I know you very well. You are the famous phonetician Professor Higgins. My daughter Eliza is your student. She is here. I want her back. Oh, Eliza? She told that she doesn't have parents. This is her father. Okay, what's your name? I am Alfred Doolittle. Eliza is here. How can I believe you people? I don't want anyone to harm my daughter. I want to protect her. Suddenly, Professor Higgins got angry. He told, Alfred, I am sure you are not here to take away your daughter. You want to get some money from me, right? No, sir, I don't want money from you. Actually, my concern is her safety. She is in a new place, in a new house. That is the reason I came here. Suddenly, Higgins, he lost his temper, his patience. He told, okay, take this money, please go. Your daughter is safe here, I assure you. Within 6 months, you will get a completely transformed, a new noble lady, your daughter. At that time, I bet you it would be difficult for you to identify her. I will change her completely. That will help her to get a better job in another flower shop. Now please leave the place. She will be safe and happy over here. Okay. As Alfred, he was very happy to see money. Actually, that was his main intention, to get, to extort, to get some money from Higgins. It was a kind of blackmailing, Somehow, Alfred came to know that Higgins wanted to teach Eliza. He wanted to do that experiment in Eliza, whether it is possible to change a girl from the streets into a noble lady by changing her accent, by changing her grammar, by changing her mother tongue, by polishing her manners and culture. Okay, so he was well aware of that. He wanted to do that experiment. That is the reason he came there with an intention to draw some money from Professor Higgins. As I told you, he was just an irresponsible father. He is least bothered about his family or about his daughter's safety and all. He needs some money. That's it. Okay, as he was about to go out of the room, suddenly he saw Mrs. Pierce entering the room with a beautifully dressed young lady. a clean, neat, pretty young lady in a blue gown. He said, "Oh, pardon me, ma'am, excuse me, please." He couldn't identify that it was nothing but his own daughter, Eliza. Eliza was astonished. Eliza asked, "Oh, father, couldn't you identify me? I am your daughter, Eliza." "Oh, great." Within a couple of hours, Professor Higgins could make such a beautiful change in you. "See, I am your father. I couldn't identify you, Eliza." That means if you stay here for next couple of months, 6 months or 3 months, there will be definitely a positive change in your life. So I am very happy, I am very thankful to Professor Higgins that he will take care of my daughter. Her life will be safe and secure over here. Thank you so much, Professor. Happily, hurriedly, he left the place. Now we are moving on to the second scene of Act 2. In this scene, we can read how Eliza is being trained by Professor Higgins. Dear children, in Act 2, Scene 2, now Eliza is sitting in Higgins's study. Her lessons have started. Now she is being trained how to pronounce English alphabet, how to use English speech sounds. See, she had lot of problems initially. She was pronouncing them incorrectly initially, and Higgins was very angry and irritated each time she made a mistake in pronunciation. See, Higgins says, "Eliza, pronounce A." She would say I. B. By. This was her pronunciation at first. But it was very difficult for Higgins to sit patiently, listen to her and correct her. Later on, Professor Higgins had put in a lot of effort. He has shown a lot of confidence and patience. He had motivated her immensely to come out of those mistakes, to correct those mistakes, to change her into a noble lady in her speaking. And let me say, dear children, with her strong hard work, willpower and determination, with the confidence and motivation of Professor Higgins, finally Eliza Doolittle was able to learn good English with proper accent and without any grammatical errors. And Higgins one day said that, yes, it's a difficult task to change a person's or to teach a person correct accent. But I will change Eliza into a royal lady one day. This is the content or the main theme of these two acts given here. Now, let's move on to the mind map of the lesson. Dear children, here is the mind map of the lesson, A Comedy of Manners. A Comedy of Manners is an adaptation from George Bernard Shaw's very famous drama Pygmalion. The main theme or the central idea of play is Professor Higgins, a phonetician, makes a bet to teach a flower girl, Eliza Doolittle, good English. One day, Eliza Doolittle appears at Higgins' lab to learn correct English. At first, Higgins is not willing to accept her as she is not able to afford a good deal of money as his fees. Colonel Pickering, Higgins' friend, a very well-known linguist, agrees to cover the cost of the lessons. Seeing the enthusiasm of the girl, Colonel Pickering was ready to support the girl financially. The challenges taken by Higgins, he starts teaching Eliza how to pronounce alphabet. The task was not easy, and it's not at all easy to correct or make changes of a person who is having a different accent or who is following a language with grammatical errors after some time. If it is a kid, it's quite easy to train. Here, the challenge has been shouldered up by Higgins. Within a couple of weeks itself, Eliza herself has proved that she is an intelligent student. Her grasping power is amazing. So within 1 or 2 months, to Higgins' surprise, Eliza has improved a lot. With her strong will and determination and hard working, Higgins could bring a royal lady from a girl from the gutters. For a number of months, Higgins trains Eliza to speak English correctly. So within a month or 2 months, Higgins, the teacher, has got the confidence that yes, I can change the life, the language, the culture, the manners of this young lady into that of a princess or a noble one. Dear children, let me tell you, this is a social criticism. Through this play Pygmalion, George Bernard Shaw was severely criticizing the social norms or the social beliefs or the follies or the vanities prevailed during that time. Among the aristocratic people, there was a belief that people, only those who can speak good English, only will be respected in the society. People who are having slight differences in their speech than the standard accepted form of English language will not be respected much by the society during that time. So that belief or that trend was bitterly criticized here by the writer. The concluding activity for you: find out the full name of Eliza. Second one, what's the meaning of the word phonetician? Who is Colonel Pickering? What's he? A Comedy of Manners is an adaptation from dash. Eliza Doolittle. And phonetician is a person who studies and specializes in the use of speech sounds, or a person who studies phonetics, the study of speech sounds and the usage of speech sounds. Colonel Pickering is a linguist, a person who studies about the features or the usages of a language. He is a friend of Professor Higgins. Colonel Pickering has done a lot of research works in Sanskrit language. A Comedy of Manners, the extract is taken from the play Pygmalion. Dear children, here is the home assignment for you. At the outset of the class, I told you the word Pygmalion is taken from Greek mythology. Pygmalion was a Greek sculptor, a person who carves out beautiful idols and sculptures. The task is that you have to find out the story of Pygmalion, and in the next online class, all of you can share your findings to me. What is the story of Pygmalion, the Greek sculptor? This is the home assignment for you. After watching the video, as I remind you all the time, please go through the drama. 2 scenes are given there. Just go through the extract given there. And whatever the doubts you have, please mark there with a pencil. In the next online class, we will be discussing the play in detail. Please do one more favor, all of you, when you go through the extract, all of you read the extract loudly with proper intonation and voice modulation, as if you were enacting this drama on a stage. with emotions and modulations you can read it as a practice. You know, in the online class I will call all of you out to read this drama. Okay, I will assign the characters to each one of you and you will be reading the drama with proper modulation. Okay, so do it as a practice at home. After watching the video, read the drama with proper modulation. You know how do we act a drama on the stage? In the same way. How do we present dialogues with emotions? Right? In the same way you have to go through the whole drama. It's a reading practice for you. Till then, happy reading. All of you stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Take care.